Online lectures. To whom has this view not become a constant companion during the last months? What's that? Is someone actually going all the way and switching on their webcam? Is it finally happening?
Hello?
Teachers and students interacting in online Nope. There he goes. Whatever. When is this thing finally starting? Probably there are connection issues again.
Hello? Can you hear me? Is anybody here?
Professor Pi is a university professor and has recently gone through the hardship of having to teach his classes entirely online. While giving presentations online is in itself not that much of a challenge, he hates the feeling of speaking into a void, unable to connect to his audience. You don't know what that looks like? Well, let's have a peek.
Well, okay. What do you call the ring in a seeing test? Loriot ring.
In real presentations, Professor Pi would usually see the faces of his students and recognize their state of attention. For example, if they're bored, confused, or if his joke was really funny. But in online classes, those nonverbal cues are missing, and the presenter solely depends on active participation of the audience. So, those presentations can become very boring on both sides of the screen. This is precisely where ClassAct comes to the rescue. Remember our shy student who immediately switched off his camera from earlier? Now there is a solution to engage without sharing your webcam, while simultaneously overcoming bandwidth and privacy issues. ClassAct records facial features of all students and uses machine learning to recognize their emotion and state of attention. These emotions are then anonymized and sent to our database. They are then aggregated and presented to the lecturer in an easy-to-use, clean front end. In order to not overwhelm with visually clustered information, individual graphs can be hidden. This makes it easy to keep track of which emotional status the students are in and truly determine whether a joke was funny. Additionally, ClassAct comes with a handy solution to solve the eerie feeling of speaking into the void of your own office while actually speaking to many people in front of their screens. An unobtrusive ambient sound based on noises typically found in a lecture hall provides the perfect backdrop to feel connected to your students. So, who are we? Where do we come from? And where are we going? Back in March, we were in the very same situation as Professor Pi, lecturing into the void of online conference tools. So we participated in a 48-hour hackathon and generated a first prototype consisting of a presenter web app and a MATLAB client for emotion recognition. Now, the development and implementation of the emotion recognition is continuing in cooperation with the Chair of Connected Mobility. During a second hackathon in April, we identified audio as a possible feedback channel. Currently, audio feedback is a mechanism hardly used in conferencing tools. Like in our prototype, the most common use case are sound notifications. For instance, when something's going on in the chat. Besides that, most information is provided visually in conflict with the cognitive resources of the lecturers who need to also look at the slides. Auditory displays offer the possibility to provide information without blocking the visual modality. So-called audioscapes are made up of a multitude of different sounds and can thus convey information. For example, the composition of background voices can be used to determine how many participants are in a virtual lecture hall. Starting in July, the potential, usability, and user experience of audioscapes will be tested in a user-centered approach. The first study aims to evaluate ambient classroom sounds as countermeasure to the feeling of talking into a void. Subsequently, a second study assesses the suitability of audioscapes to convey information to the presenter. We're already looking forward to implement our findings and welcome you in our tool in one of the lectures in this year's upcoming winter semester.